Hello students. So student, in the previous class we were talking about in the chapter that is separation of a substance about the different kind of a separating techniques. You see students, till now we have discussed that what is the use of this separation method, why it is important and why we are doing so, why we are separating the things. Then we started with that of a different separating techniques. In this one, the first thing that we have studied is threshing. Then winnowing. After that, that of the hand picking method. Okay. So all three were interconnected, you can say, because in the first one, if we talk about the threshing one, so again I am telling you that we will take the grains is removed, is get separated from the stem or from the stalk. And that grain is covered with that of the shaft. Okay, so when we beat it, it will get broken into the smaller pieces and the grain will come outside. That is known as a threshing. In case of a winnowing student, we used to separate that of the grain from the husk. Okay, so we can separate the grain from the husk, and that process, with the help of the wind, that process is known as a winnowing. Even then also the process of the winnowing is not effective if a small pebbles or small stones are there in the with that of the grains. So for such a condition, if it is in a smaller quantity, we can use another kind of a separation technique, and that is known as a hand picking. Later on student, we started with that of a sieving. Okay, let me tell you again about sieving. The question is that when we will going to use that of the sieving process. So basically we use sieving process when there is a, we can say in the physical property, there is a difference in the physical property. One is having the smaller size and other one is having the larger size. Okay, so if there is a difference in the size of the particle, only then we are able to separate them with the help of the process of a sieving or with the help of a sieve. Okay, so sieve is what student? Sieve, you can say, is a kind of a vessel which consisting of a small pores in it, small holes in it, and this pore, this hole totally depends upon what kind of a mixture we are taking. Okay, because you see, if suppose we are taking two components in a mixture. A mixture is there consisting of a two component. One is the smaller one, smaller in size. Another one is a larger in size. Now, the pores, which is present on the sieve, must be like that it allow only the smaller particle to pass through them, not the larger particles to come through it. Okay, so by this process, we can say, by using the sieving process, we can separate the larger particles from that of the smaller particles. We have see some of the examples student live. If you see wheat flour. Okay, so wheat flour is the example. Okay, next one is the that of the you see wheat flour. In case of a wheat flour, let me tell you again that if a coarse wheat is there, students, so that coarse wheat can be separated from that of the fine wheat flour. Okay, so how can you separate it? The sieve is there, students, which consisting of a very minute pores on its base, and when we keep the wheat flour and start moving it back and forth continuously, then ultimately the smaller or the finer particles will come out from that of the sieve, and the larger one will remain on its surface. Okay, so we can say that wheat flour can be used for the separating method. Then the next one is sand. How sand, students? So we already had discussed that fine sand, fine sand can be separated by this method. that is by using sieve. Okay, fine sand can be separated by this method, that is by using sieves. Here what we used to do, the coarse sand, you see sand consisting of you say coarse sand, even the pebbles, okay, as well as you see student pebbles, we can say pebble will include the stones or the big stone also. So when you pebbles, when you put the sand along with all, what is the meaning of all here? It means the fine sand, it means the pebbles, as well as it will also include the coarse sand. When we put all these things, then and start moving it back and forth continuously. Okay. So when you put the sand along with all on a iron sieve, is a large iron sieve, students. You will see that is a kind of a net. Net is means sieve only, which is having a pore in it, and you will keep that iron sieve in a slanting position. And when you put it, when you put all the sand along with that of the fine, with that of the pebbles and that of the coarse sand together on that of the sieve, and start moving it back and forth, then you will find that the fine sand particle will come outside while the coarse sand and the pebbles will remain on the net. Okay, will remain on the sieve. So by this we are able to separate the coarse sand particles from that of the fine sand. Okay, let me tell you again. We have taken a iron sieve. Okay. Now this big iron sieve we are putting the sand, which is the along with that of the coarse sand is there, pebbles are there, student. So fine sand is there. So all of them together, because it is a mixture of everything. So we will take it all the things and we will put it on that of the sieve, that iron sieve, and start moving. We had kept the iron sieve in a slanting position, and we start moving it back and forth continuously. Ultimately it will help in separating the pebbles, separating the coarse sand from each other. Okay. Any other example is there, students? Yes, there is another example. Let me write it that. The method of sieving is also used to separate the object of a similar object having different size. Now you see, student, we are using this sieving method not only with the different types of object, but we can use it for the same object with the similar kind of object, but the size vary. Actually, the basic principle on the principle on which it is working, that sieving, is the difference in that of the sizes. If a same object is there, or if a two different object is there, if both of them are of a different sizes, only then we can use the process of a sieving. Okay, so here also you can see that we are using the similar object is there, but that of a different sizes. Okay. Example is cashew nut of different sizes are separated. They are separated in cashew nut factories. In cashew nut factories by the process of sieving. By the process of sieving. Okay, so cashew nut of different sizes, they are separated from each other even in the cashew nut factories by the process of the sieving. What does that mean, student? Possibilities there that some of the cashew nut, they are smaller in size, some of them are larger in size. So we will use such kind of a sieve in which the smaller one will come outside from that of the sieve while the larger one will remain on the sieve itself. Okay, so by this process, by the process of the sieving, we are able to separate the similar object also like that of a cashew nut can be separated from the other cashew nut, but that of a different size. It means one is a larger one is a smaller one with the help of the process that is sieve. Okay, so this is the process that is sieving. Now we will move to the next separating technique, students. Now you see here, every time we are using the methods, the different methods, and these methods totally depends upon the properties. These are totally depend upon the different types of a property. Next one is the magnetic separation. Magnetic separation, the term magnetic, by that you can understand, student, that it totally depends upon the type of the object, that is magnetic material and non-magnetic material. You know that, students, there are some of the objects which get attracted towards the magnet. Such kind of a material is known as a magnetic material, and there are substances which do not get attracted towards it, that are known as a non-magnetic material. So basically the name itself explaining all the thing, that here we are separating the different components of the mixture by using a magnet. Okay, so we can write it. Magnetic separation means separation done by using a magnet. Okay, so when the separation is done with the help of a magnet, that kind of a separation is known as a magnetic separation. Is there any other example, student, by which we can say that, example is there by which we can say that we can use a magnet and we can separate from each other? Yes. See, if suppose in a small utensil, actually when we talk about in the laboratory, there is a dish kind of a structure is there, equipment is there, which we call as a china dish. Okay, so if suppose we have taken sulfur powder and iron filling. What is the meaning of an iron filling, student? Small or broken iron, the smaller pieces of the iron and the broken iron is a very smaller part. That is known as an iron filling. You can say it is an iron only, but since it is in a very smaller size and a very thin size, so we use the term for it, that is iron filling. But for your convenience, you can understand this, that is iron. Okay, so if you have taken a sulfur powder, what is a sulfur? Sulfur is a chemical. So we can say if we have taken a sulfur powder and that of the iron filling. If we have a mixture of sulfur powder and iron fillings. Okay, so we are having mixture of a sulfur powder and that of the iron filling. So here, one thing you will see, student, that this, out of these two, sulfur and iron, you know that when you take a iron near to that of a magnet, the magnet will get stick immediately with that of the iron. So, how can we separate these two, students? So, since it is a magnetic material, iron is a magnetic material, it means it gets attracted towards the magnet. In a simple language, you can understand that out of the different components present in a mixture, if one of the component get attracted towards the magnet, we can separate it from the different component of the mixtures with the help of a magnet, and that separation is known as a magnetic separation. So iron filling is there and sulfur powder is there, so we can separate it. We can separate iron filling. We can separate iron filling. With the help of the magnet. With the help of the magnet. Okay, so we can separate the iron filling and sulfur powder with the help of a magnet. Now, you can understand by this, student, that where we have to use the magnetic separation process, in which one of the component of the mixture gets attracted towards the magnet, there we can use the process of a magnetic separation. Okay. Now we will move and understand the separation with the help of a magnet, and where this method can be used properly. Magnetic separation. Now you see, students, that how can we separate it? So you can understand. You see, students, we can separate the iron scrap from that of a heap of a waste material. Okay, so you see that you have heard about the industries. They used to lot of industrial waste material consisting of iron in it, and we used to throw it, we used to dump it with the other waste material. Now, suppose we want to separate the iron scrap from that of the other waste material. So, for that, student, we can do the process of a magnetic separation. Okay, so with the help of this separating technique, we can separate the iron scrap from the other waste material. For that, students, what we can do, the people, they used to take a crane and they fit that the crane with an electromagnet. Okay, now the role of the electromagnet, it acts as a magnet, remember that. Okay, so the crane should be, it used to be lowered so that it will take all the iron material or the magnetic material from that of the heap of the other waste materials. So the iron object will get stick on that of the crane, then the crane will, it will move higher and it will place all the iron object at other place, means it will separate that of the iron object from that of the waste material. Let me write it, then we can understand it properly. Waste material supplied to factories. Waste materials supplied to factories contain a large number of scrap metal that can include iron, Okay. Now, these scrap iron can be removed from the other garbage or other waste material by using a crane fitted with electromagnet. Okay, it can be removed from the other waste material by using a crane fitted with that of the electromagnet. Now, what is the role of the electromagnet, students? That when this electromagnet is lowered, when this powerful electromagnet is lowered, then what happened? Then the iron object from the waste material will get stick to that of the electromagnet. Stick, student, or it will get clinged to the magnet, to the electromagnet. Then the crane is moved up. Then the crane is moved up and drop these iron objects at other place. So you see, students, what happens here? Here at first we have used a crane, and that crane is fitted with that of the electromagnet. Electromagnet is what? It means it consisting of, actually electromagnet is a magnet which is produced by giving supply of electricity. You don't have to understand much about the electromagnet. You will simply understand that electromagnet is a object which act as a magnet. Okay, so it's a kind of a magnet, you can say, that will help in attracting the object towards itself. Which object? The object which is, we can say that iron object is there or the metal object is there. So basically it helps in attracting the metals towards itself. Okay, so that crane is fitted with the electromagnet. Now when the crane is placed near to that of the heap of the waste material, students, then what happened? Then you see that the iron scrap which is present in that of the other waste material, it will start getting attracted, it will start getting clinged to that of the electromagnet. Okay, it will get linked to that of the electromagnet, and finally you see that this electromagnet, this crane will move up and it will keep all the heap of the iron object which get clinged over its surface to the other place. So you can see, students, that we can separate the scrap iron object from the garbage, from that of the waste material by using a separating technique that is known as a magnetic separation. Okay. Now we will move to the next one, students. So this was about the magnetic separation, in which we can, with the help of a magnet, we can separate the things from each other. Next one is the sedimentation. Sedimentation. Now, before we go further and try to understand the process of a sedimentation, student, we should know the first term, and that is sediment. Okay, so let me write the definition of a sediment and sedimentation, then we will try to understand it. Okay. Okay, let me explain with the help of example. You see, student, you are having a glass and the glass is filled with water. Now you have taken a feast of sand, and you just put sand in the water, and you mixes the sand with the help of a spoon. What you will observe, or you have taken a mud also, anything, and you have stirred it properly. What you will observe, that if you take a sand, so the sand will start moving in the water. Now you will keep the sand which is present in the water left undisturbed for some time. You will keep the glass left undisturbed for some time. What you will observe? You will observe that after a few interval of a time, after some times, the sand will settle at the bottom of the glass. Okay, so the glass which was already filled with the water, when you kept it left undisturbed for some time, the sand settles down. Now the settling of the solid particle, that is known as a sediment. So the solid particle which is present in the mixture, when you keep it left undisturbed for some times, it will get settled down, and that solid particles are known as sediments. And this process of the settling of the solid object at the bottom, that is known as a sedimentation. Okay, let me write it and then I'll explain you again about it. The solid matter which settles down at the bottom of a liquid. Bottom of a liquid called sediments. What about the sedimentation? The deposition of a solid matter. The deposition of a solid matter at the bottom of a liquid. At the bottom of a liquid. Called sedimentation. So one is known as a sediment, another one is known as a sedimentation. Okay, so the solid matter, student, the sand which we have taken, which we had kept in the water, that sand will settle down at the bottom of the glass. That sand is the solid object. That solid matter is known as a sediment. And this whole process in which the solid material gets settled down at the bottom when you kept it left undisturbed for some time, that process is known as a sedimentation. Okay, so one is the sediment, that is the solid matter which settles down, and another is the process of the settling. It involves the process that is known as a sedimentation. We will discuss about sedimentation in the next class. Okay.